Grandma, tell me about the Great Depression. They're talking about it in school, but I want to hear about it from you.
Grandma, her silver hair shimmering in the firelight, smiled faintly. She gazed at the dancing flames, her eyes reflecting a distant memory. A comfortable silence filled the room, punctuated by the crackling fire and the howling wind.
Please, Grandma, was it really as bad as they say?
It was a difficult time, Ethan. The days were long and filled with uncertainty, not something anyone wants to remember. The hardships were unimaginable and the struggles were endless.
But Grandma, I want to understand. I want to know what you went through. You were there. You lived through it. Your stories are important to me.
Grandma looked at her grandson, her heart heavy with memories. His innocent eyes filled with genuine curiosity, a longing to connect with the past. She knew she couldn't refuse him. The weight of her experiences pressed down on her. Taking a deep breath, she began to unravel the threads of a past long gone yet never forgotten. Each memory was a piece of history.
All right, Ethan, I will share my story with you. Let me tell you about the coldest November I ever experienced. It was a time of great hardship, but also of resilience and hope. It was 1932, a year that etched itself into the annals of history. My daddy, your great-grandpa, was out of work, like so many others during the Great Depression, and we were struggling to put food on the table. Every meal was a challenge, and every day was a test of our resilience. The winter was especially harsh that year, with snow piling up and temperatures plummeting to unbearable lows. The cold seemed to seep into our very bones, making it difficult to find any comfort or warmth.
We lived way out in the country, and Daddy had to hunt for most of our food. But he had been sick. Everyone was in the same boat, facing the same hardships and uncertainties. But even in those tough times, we looked after each other. We shared what little we had. It was these small acts of kindness that gave us hope.
I remember one particularly bleak evening, the kind that seemed to stretch on forever. We were out of coal for the stove, and the chill in the air was almost unbearable. The cupboards were bare, not a scrap of food to be found. My brother, your Uncle Danny, just a little tyke then, was shivering with cold and hunger. His small frame wrapped in a thin blanket, his eyes reflecting the hardship we all felt, went outside regardless. We all thought he was crazy. Suddenly, we heard the front door slam open. It was an unexpected sound, breaking the silence of our humble home. We exchanged curious glances, wondering what in the world that could be. It was Danny. He stood there with a warm smile, despite the cold wind blowing outside. He was holding a pillowcase full of something he had caught. He ran right into the kitchen where Mama had been crying, bless his heart. When Mama saw what was inside the pillowcase, her eyes lit up with sheer joy. She immediately started plucking the tiny feathers off of each little brown bird Danny had caught and threw them into a boiling pot, beaks and all. It was a simple meal, but it was made with love and generosity. It wasn't much, but it was enough to fill our bellies and warm our hearts. We gathered around the table, savouring each bite, feeling a sense of comfort and togetherness. To this day, it was the best soup I've ever had. That night, huddled together under a pile of blankets, we were grateful. The warmth of the stew lingered, and so did the warmth of Mama's kindness. Grateful for the food, for the bravery of little Danny, and for the love that bound us together. In those moments, we realized that even in the hardest times, there is always something to be thankful for.
Ethan looked at his grandma, his heart full. He understood now. The stories she had told him about the Great Depression were not just tales of hardship, but lessons in resilience and compassion. The Great Depression wasn't just a chapter in his history book. It was a story of resilience, compassion, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. It was a reminder that even in the darkest times, the light of human kindness can shine through, bringing hope and warmth to those in need.